Your lesson essential question is, how do characters respond to events and challenges throughout the beginning, middle, and end of stories? So today, we're going to be looking for characters' responses to those challenges throughout an entire story. Remember, when a character faces a challenge, we call it the problem of the story. Characters are who the story is about. Characters respond to their problems through their thoughts, words, feelings, and actions. Every story has characters, setting, and a plot. Characters respond to a problem to create the plot. The first thing we're going to do when we start reading is identify the characters and the setting of the story. Remember, the characters are who the story is about, and the setting is where the story takes place. Next, we identify the problem the characters are facing. This usually happens at the beginning of the story. If you look over here, this little girl has a problem. It's raining and she's getting wet. Next, we'll identify how the characters act and react to the problem throughout the story. So the characters are going to be reacting, which makes the story. And this is the middle of the story. Eventually, as they act and react, we'll find that there's a solution at the end of the story. So this little boy gets an umbrella so that he's not getting wet in the rain. That's his solution. So he reacted through his actions and he got an umbrella. Last, we'll speak and write about the characters by talking about their actions and reactions. So as we're looking for those characters' actions and reactions throughout the story, we're going to be looking for their thoughts, which is what they're thinking in response to the problem. We'll look for their words, what they're saying in response to the problem. We'll look for their feelings, how they're feeling about the problem, and their actions, which is what they're doing in response to the problem. Let's read the snowstorm. The wind blew hard, shaking the barn. Outside, the falling snow whipped this way and that. Inside, Greta and her mother counted the sheep they had just brought down from the mountain. One of the sheep was missing. But which one? They saw that Lizzie, one of the new lambs, had been left behind. Take a second and identify who this story is about. You probably identified the two main characters as Greta and her mother. Where's this story taking place? We know right now they're inside, and we also know that a mountain is involved. I've identified the problem for you. One of the sheep is missing. The sheep that's missing is Lizzie, and she's been left behind. So the problem is Lizzie had been left behind. Now let's see how Greta and her mother respond to the problem through their thoughts, words, feelings, and actions. Greta and her mother started back up the mountain to look for her, but there wasn't much time. Already they could hardly see a thing in the heavy blowing snow. So what's the first thing that Greta and her mother do to react to their problem? The first thing they do is they react using their actions. They start back up the mountain. Lizzie, Lizzie, they called out. So what's the next thing that they do in response to their problem? So first they respond through their actions by starting back up the mountain, and then they respond through their words. And they yell, Lizzie, Lizzie. At last they heard her crying back, "Bah!" They had found Lizzie, but now they were lost. How would they find their way home? Their whole world had gone white. So Greta and her mother solved their first problem, but now there's another problem. What is their new problem? They realize that they're lost. Then Greta saw a stream nearby. The blinding snow was still melting in it. She and her mother could follow the stream's twisting dark line down the mountain. It would lead them back to the gate near their barn. Greta held the little lamb tight. Soon everyone would be safe at home. So let's identify how they react to their new problem of being lost. We know that Greta sees a stream nearby. Seeing this stream was able to solve their problem. How was the problem solved in the end? Greta and her mother follow the stream down the mountain.